We all knew that the WNBA would suffer without Caitlin Clark, and now we know how bad it is. If there was ever any doubt about the Caitlin Clark effect, we're seeing it in full reverse as casual fans are too busy watching TikTok of Angel Reese missing open layups to watch actual games. Look, it was only going to be a while before we're all like, Caitlin Clark's got to be back. The WNBA players, particularly those who believed they had all the leverage going into the next CBA, are about to take a bite out of the big pie. And with the breaking news of Caitlin Clark's return, which I'm going to break down in this video, the contrast is about to become undeniable. We saw the cracks early, but now the dam has broken, and it's starting to feel like panic time for the WNBA and its players. Let's get started, but first, enjoy this video celebrating Caitlin's return. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates on Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and everything WNBA, because he's not good. The initial shock of Caitlin Clark's injury has subsided, and the Fever's first two games without her have been a roller coaster, including a rough loss to the then winless Connecticut Sun, followed by a strong victory over the upstart. I'll go into the on-court issues in a moment because they're having a bigger impact on the league than most people realize. But if you've been following the WNBA at all, you knew this was coming the moment Caitlin missed any significant time. As it turned out, we started seeing the cracks early. The Mystics then put on a dominant performance against the Chicago Sky, but just when it looked like they might be turning the corner, they suffered a tough loss to the Atlanta Dream. There's been a noticeable shift in interest in the Fever games without Clark. A week ago, I purchased 4 tickets on StubHub to take my athletic nieces to the Fever Mystics game in Baltimore. The tickets in the same row are now less than half of what I paid. When it was announced that Caitlin Clark would be absent, ticket prices for the Fever's game against the Sky fell precipitously. And soon after, we heard about families canceling vacations, altering their plans, and even asking for refunds. There was a quote in one of the front office sports articles that said, "It's unclear whether the teams will provide any compensation for fans who bought tickets to their games." I thought, what grow up? That's WNBA legend Sue Bird and her wife Megan Rapinoe telling fans to grow up, which is a brilliant move. These are the same fans who are about to see their WNBA salaries skyrocket after the next CBA, and you're making fun of them for wanting. People paid hundreds of dollars to see Caitlin Clark, and now those same seats were being resold for less than $10, 0 cents in some cases. That's not a downturn in value, rather. It's a collapse. It's like paying top dollar to see Harry Styles and being told, actually, Kyle from accounting is going to do a few covers. Okay, not that bad, but obviously people are upset. And it gets worse when injuries are involved. I understand that it's terrible if you purchased a ticket to see someone and they're injured. However, you wouldn't say that about men's sports if LeBron, Steph Curry, or other big names were sidelined for a few weeks. They wouldn't say, oh, we're going to reimburse you guys. Sorry about that. Now, you're simply not treating the WNBA like a business. So I'm like, yeah, she's hurt. It sucks. If we're being honest, the WNBA hasn't exactly treated it like a business until Caitlin Clark arrived. Since then, the league has operated with significant financial assistance from the NBA. But the Caitlin Clark effect doesn't require handouts. She and the millions of fans she brought with her are the league's only way out of Povertyville. This is the moment the league has been waiting for decades, and strangely enough, they still don't seem to understand that you should not alienate the force behind your development. Rather, you should support and safeguard it by building around things like this. Now, let's see Clark in transition. You can bet that this was a turning point for the WNBA. An Indiana Fever exhibition game drew 3 million viewers, and the momentum only increased from there, reaching a peak of 3 million during the match between the Fever and the Liberty. But now The difference between betting interest in Fever games dropped as much as 50% last week at sportsbooks when star guard Caitlin Clark was out, and the amount wagered on the Fever's 2 games last year at Caesars Sportsbook was about half as much. That game and what we're seeing today without Caitlin Clark is off the charts. We've already discussed the ticket prices, the first obvious indication of a shift in fan behavior and discretionary spending. But there's another metric the league should be closely monitoring. Betting on a team's first 4 games of the season has fallen like a rock since Caitlin Clark's injury, unless you're betting on Angel Reed to miss her first layup. More on that in a moment, because believe it or not, it matters, because when all is said and done, fans are spending less of their hard-earned money on the WNBA, but even though that rating was good for Caitlin Clark's, Nielsen estimates that it's good for roughly 1 million more viewers. Since Caitlin Clark's quad injury during the Fever's 98-8 loss to the New York Liberty on May 24th, ratings viewership for nationally televised NBA games has dropped by an astounding 55%. This is made even more evident and ugly by the fact that since Clark was ruled out, nationally televised Fever games have lost 53% of their audience, which was averaging 1 since then. There have been just 847,000 viewers out of 8 million, which is not just a drop, but a free collapse, to be fair, to the national. According to broadcasts like CBS Fever, fans are still attending, and many people assume that since Caitlin Clark is no longer there, no one will be supporting the Fever. However, the Fever Sky game managed to draw an impressive one, officially dispelling the myth that these new fans aren't helping because they're not tuning in for games. 92 million viewers, which is impressive on paper, but bear in mind that the last meeting with Caitlin Clark ended in a draw of 2. Consider it. This matchup had all the elements of a TV draw: tension, animosity, and lingering drama from their season opener. Angel Reese became upset over a foul, probably because it forced her to make an easy shot, and we all know how that usually goes. And then there were 10 days in a row of headlines about hate speech investigations and constant debate with Caitlin in the lineup. You have to think that this one could have broken records and caused a spike in ratings. That Caitlin produced is fading, and the WNBA must be in a panic for several reasons. To start, their other young star, who I just mentioned, is not shining Angel Reese, who is a disgrace to women's basketball because she is so incompetent and has made so many funny videos that she has become a joke and a meme. People keep trying to push her out there as if she were the greatest and the smartest, but eventually enough will be enough, and you think these girls would. Not only is the league failing to benefit from Angel Reed, but they are actually regressing as they continue to promote her as a star, and the media keeps doing the same, hyping her up at every chance. One of the most telling examples was when CBS Sports posted highlights from her game against the Fever, but they only had 2 scoring plays to choose from, and they posted both of them. One of those was an uncontested layup, which they somehow captioned to make it appear effortless. Then, yesterday afternoon, ET revealed that they were presenting Angel Reed with their Sportswoman of the Year award. The announcement alone was enough to confuse people, but the confusion was exacerbated when they discovered that this was the 3rd year in a row that Reed had received this honor. Most recently, Angel Reed won BET's Sports of the Year, defeating 3-time MVP and 2-time. To be clear, this isn't a jab at Angel, but the constant gaslighting and push to make her a superstar despite obvious flaws in her fundamentals is doing more harm than good. Every time she misses a routine layup, it goes viral, and every time a media outlet overhypes a basic play, fans call it out. While that may create buzz on social media, it's not translating into ticket sales or viewership, and it's most definitely not close to Caitlin. If anything, Clark levels are detrimental to the league, and Angel would likely benefit from less attention and more time to work on improving her game. Because here's the thing, when players fail to live up to expectations, fans tune out. We may already be witnessing similar warning signs with the Fever. who have had a mixed bag of performances this season, many highs and lows, but the one that stands out is the Indiana Fever. Fans are worried because they aren't playing the basketball style that made them fall in love with this team. The biggest complaint is that they are playing a slow-paced movement transition offense, which has taken a noticeable step back. This is a problem for a team that relies on Caitlin Clark's playmaking and tempo. They have played with no speed at all. Stephanie White took the fast Indiana Pacers and tried to turn them into the Detroit Pistons' 0-4 team. The frightening thing is that this isn't just an issue that arose with Caitlin Clark's injury. Even when she was on the court, the team was playing the same slow, stagnant style. Now both fans and analysts are beginning to question head coach Stephanie White about the team system and whether this roster is truly designed to support the fast-paced, dynamic game that Caitlin thrives in. Because if this is the direction they're going, with or without her, it's a serious one. Problem not only for Indiana, but also for the league risk. And the approach the front office in Indiana took was to bring in a lot of veterans to surround Caitlin Clark with all this talent. However, I think that what made watching the Indiana Fever so entertaining last year was their run and gun fast pack, or simply driving the ball to the basket, and they aren't doing that anymore. It's obvious that there is a lot to fix in Indiana, and even though Caitlin Clark won't be able to return anytime soon enough, she brings the excitement and energy, the game pace, and from what we've seen so far, the league needs a winning team that is entertaining to watch and actually wins games if it wants to maintain this momentum. Since this is their CBA year, Caitlin's absence is a complete disaster. All the owners need to do is ask, what if she gets injured again? And respond, we are not committing to this if she gets injured again. Because she can get injured again. If she gets injured again, it's over. No matter what is publicly stated, how loudly Suburb complains about fans, how many times people say that WNBA was great before, or how many BET Awards Angel Ree wins, everybody knows who's driving demand these days. Caitlin Clark isn't just a star, she's the engine. And without her, everything slows down. I need to get in the field, you need to come to the meetings, I need to get in the meetings, because I'm hearing like the league has some amazing storylines this season and one of the big pickups in the expansion. But without Caitlin on the court, the numbers aren't there, the ratings are down, the buzz is fading, and the negotiating power that players thought they'd have going into the next CBA is slipping away. It's a shame that they don't give us what we want. Like we said, no, that's a possibility for real. That leverage Angel Nefsa and Brittany Grier we're talking about, and it's Caitlin's. The Valkyries are a truly entertaining team to watch. They play quickly, have personality, and most importantly, sell out games in a full-size NBA arena rather than a small 4,000-seat arena like Atlanta's, which, let's face it, looks more like a food court in a shopping mall than a professional basketball venue. Then there are the rookies who are bringing new life to the league. 12 of their 19 points as I spin and rattle at home are impressive,